Yeah, viewers, I welcome you to a moment with Sister Prisca. Today, the caption of my discussion is I want to die empty. Yes, you heard me well. I want to die empty. What about you? Do you think about death? Do you think about living? What kind of life do you live? And how do you manage yourself? What do you do with your time? What do you do with the resource, your talent God has given to you? Do you use them to serve humanity? What actually are you doing? Or do you hide your gift, your talent, so that others may not know what you have as well or you have within you? Yes, I want to die empty because this life is so beautiful. This life is full of good things. This life is filled with many things that we have inherited from creation, from the moment of our birth till this moment we are talking. And the question is this: if God has given me everything free of charge, the question is, how have I used the gift which I have received from God? Did I use it, or am I using it to bless the life of others? Or am I just keeping it and reserving it for a time that I do not know? This question is not just for me alone, it is equally for you. How would you want to die? Would you like to die empty, or would you just like to die full? What I mean by empty is not in its own literary meaning. I want to die empty, giving out all that I have. I know it's a difficult project, but I believe it's something, if God permits, I will be able to do. What I mean by I want to die empty is that I want to live my life in touching the hearts or the lives of those I come in contact with. This is an assignment not just for me alone, but I would want you to think about it. It will be good for you as well. What do you do with your talents? To manage life's uncertainty, we need to pay attention to what we do for ourselves and what we do for the society. Many a times we engage our own time thinking about the mistakes of other persons or what the government or what an individual didn't do very well. Have you stopped to question yourself how far about your own? How far have you gone? How far have you been charitable? How far have you given out what you have in order to help other persons who are closer to you? This is an assignment for you and I. How would you want to die? You know, parents always take out the time they have in order to teach their children, in order to help their children learn things. Because the prayer of every parent is that their children will grow and become more productive and even become better than them because they are giving the children what they have, and they believe through prayer, through effort, and every other that their children will grow and become better. And the question is, if our parents have given all their resources, all their time, their energy, everything that they possess in order to help their children to grow, our parents are gradually dying empty because they have given everything to their children, and sometimes even to their children's children, because we will find some mothers or even some grannies who take care of their grandchildren, they are repeatedly giving now what they have. Our parents, remember, are dying empty gradually and continuously because a mother can never stay without thinking about what to do or what to give to their own children in order to provide for them. Likewise, our own fathers, our parents have done so much. In return, we as children, what do we do in order to make our parents appreciate what they have done for us? It is your duty, it is my own duty to learn to die empty. Give out what you have. Because there is a saying that givers never lack. What is it that you have that you are holding so fair, thinking that nobody else can have it? Share it because there is always joy in sharing what you have. Because by sharing, you are first multiplying. It's just like a candle that lights another candle. It doesn't take away anything from that candle by lighting another candle. That is the same way you and I have to reason about this our present life. God has given you talents. What do you do with it? God has given you knowledge. What do you do with it? God has given you health. What do you do with it? He has blessed you with family. How do you take care of your family? God has given you job opportunities. He has placed you where you are. What are you really doing with it? Are you using it as a means of spreading His gospel to the world? Or are you just only closing it to yourself so that others may not know what you have? There is always this kind of belief that many persons will never tell you the truth about what they have until they lose it. It's just like going to somebody asking him or her to lend you maybe 1,000 naira or 1,000 or even 10 euro or even $10, the person will tell you, to be honest with you, I don't have. But in another moment, you may hear that person telling you, oh, I just lost about 1,000,000 naira or even half 1,000 of that same money. And you begin to ask yourself, was this not the fellow whom I asked, please kindly lend me 100 naira or $100, and he told me that he doesn't have? How come? Is it because he has misplaced or lost what he has at that moment? He will now come back to tell you that he has lost out. When you heard, were you able to share what you had? That is the law of nature. Give and it shall be given to you. Do the most you can. I know that nobody can solve the whole problem of humanity, but at least just start from one person. Even if it's just only one person you are able to add value to his or her own life, it's more than enough. Help those who come around you. Share your talents, share your ideas with others. Probably you might be thinking that you are going to teach and invest your time in somebody whom, by your own judgment, you feel that that person doesn't know much. And you will now discover that even in sharing that idea, that person knows more than you do. And instead of you becoming the teacher, you now become a student to that person. Never underestimate the fact that each and every one of us is blessed with different gifts. And in sharing, we'll be able to discover how richly blessed others are. We may be thinking we are the best in our own form without knowing that there are others who have special gifts, but are looking for opportunities to unveil their own gifts. Why hiding the gift you have? Why thinking that you do not have what it takes in order to make another person's own life beautiful. You will always appreciate when another person helps you. How much about you? How do you feel helping person? Or even when people come to you to ask you for help and you turn them away, how do you feel? This life is a school. And it is in this life that we'll be able to learn how to manage ourselves. There is no other place we can learn other than living and learning from this existential planet. Dearest friend, listen to me. Learn to die empty because when you give out what you heard, you know that you are helping another person to build his or her own future. And you'll be happy when you see the person tomorrow become great. You will see that even when the person doesn't even acknowledge what you have done, but at least within you, you know that you have helped somebody to grow. Every one of us wants others to help us, but how much do we go in order to assist other persons? This is a question, not just for me alone, but for you to think. How would you want to be remembered after your journey in this existential planet? Would you want a situation whereby people will recognize you as that stingy person who hardly share what he has? Or would you like to be remembered by the good things you do? This life have two things. It's either fingerprints or footprints. And in this, you have to choose which one you have to leave behind. When you leave your footprint, you are leaving a legacy. But when you leave your own fingerprints, that means you're a culprit. You are somebody who is not in line with the law. And that is the reason when you go to some places, they want to take your thumbprint because they want to be sure that in case there is anything that is being done that is improper, they will be able to use that your fingerprint to identify you. But your footprint is just a legacy that you leave. Think about some saints. Think about Mother Teresa. Think about the life of saints. Think about your own parents, what they do in order to make their children happy and comfortable. Most times, our parents go even far beyond what they could even provide to make sure that they provide for their own children. That is an example of dying empty. Our parents are models, and we are grateful for our parents. Sometimes we are ungrateful to our own parents, that we keep on thinking that our parents have been wicked to us because they didn't give us all that we asked them to give. If it were in their possession, they would have given it. But at least for the fact that they have given you life, they have nurtured you, they have taken care of you up to your own age. It is more than enough to always say thank you and always pray that God will bless your parents. Never curse your parents. Never say any dirty word to your parents because your parents have suffered so much in order to make you who you are. They are dying gradually in order to give life to you. What have you done for your parents? If it were to be a salary that our parents need to take in order to take care of us, I don't think neither you or I will be able to make the payment, their daily sacrifices, working night and day at every time in order to make sure that they give us the best. But sometimes we are ungrateful. Sometimes we just allow things meaningless to us to take away that bond of union that we have, that thing that brings us together as one. We allow it just because we allow other person's own conviction to spoil what we have. If you have your parents still alive, Go back to them and say, Mama, Papa, thank you for what you have done. Bless their days and ask God to bless their days. Ask your parents to bless you, because the blessings that your parents make to you now that they are alive will follow you wherever you go. And if your parents dare lay their curses on you, it will be difficult for that curse to revoke, except that same person, that your parents decide to say, my child, I cursed you out of anger. I now say, no, that thing will not happen. Always remember that the words of your parents are prophetic. Even if they are old, even if they seem wretched, even if they look somehow too haggard, it is because of their own daily sacrifice in order to provide for you that reduce them to that level. Your parents are dying gradually. Don't allow them to die without receiving their blessings. Always make them happy because they have done so much for you. Dear brother, dear sister, you listening to me, the question I have to ask you is this. If your parents are still alive, have you taken out your time to visit them, to stay with them, or even to wash their clothing, or even to cook for them? Your parents have been busy. They were busy all through your life, doing everything for you. They baked you, they washed your clothes, they did everything, they took you to school, they made sure that they gave you the best. Now that you are grown up, you think you have learned some things and your parents have become a new school. That your parents, you are ashamed to even introduce them to your friends. This is my mom, this is my dad, just because age has reduced them to something else. And you will now think that that person whom you have got from anywhere will now represent your mom. If you have never asked your mother or your father to bless you, quickly do that. Those of us whom God, by His grace, have called our parents back to Himself, we keep praying that God will grant their souls eternal rest, because they tried for us and we appreciated their efforts. Yes, I miss my parents. They are no more. But I try the much I can to always remember the things they told me when I was still small. Anything that I want to do, and I remember, yes, my mother used to scold me in doing this particular thing, I will just avoid it. When I remember that this is one of the things my father will say, my daughter, don't do this, automatically it will be as if their voice is echoing inside me, and I will just talk, just because they emptied themselves in educating me. They did all they could in order to make me live. I am whom I am today is not by my own efforts. It is my parents who have done that great job in me. Yes, I am proud. I am a fruit of my own parents. My parents educated me and they gave me their love. They gave me every training within their own possibility. And what they were unable to give me, they prayed for me, my daughter, it shall be well with you. And that word has been accompanying me in everything I do. The question is that why is it that some of you don't talk to their parents, either to their mother or even to their father? Why is it that some of you even find it difficult even to visit your own parents? Why is it difficult for you even to bring your own mother into your own house? The mother who took care of you, who bathed you, who did everything right from the time you were born, all to the time you became who you are. You are ashamed to bring your mother just because age has reduced her into a form that you feel that you are ashamed to introduce her to others, that this is your mom. No, you are making the mistake. Remember, whatever you do for your parents, your children are watching you, they will do the same to you. If you treat yourself very well, your children will do the same with you. If in the presence of your children you scold your parents or you tell them unhealthy words, don't forget that your children are watching you and they will do the same thing with you. And how would you feel? It's not about maybe the how expensive the school you send your children matters the level of understanding. You may even send your children to the best school, but they may come out empty, not learning anything, just because you felt that your material wealth or anything will be able to give you what you feel will be able to obtain to you. Just a moment. So, dear friends, there is something that you have to know. Our parents took their energy, took their time in order to introduce us into a life pattern, either in form of the job we do or even the things that we learn, both introducing us to the culture of our fathers. It is our parents who explain to us how life is. Even in those times when we may be crying, they will bring us together and tell us one or two stories in order to soothe our pains. All those things, they are evidence or a proof of how much our parents have been doing for us and what they did for us. Remember, for you to live a good life, you have to make sure you don't just close up the gift God has given to you, thinking you are keeping it for yourself. Learn to share because there is always a blessing that is attached to giving to others. And in giving, you will discover that one of the ways you can serve God better is through humanity. And it is because God, who created you and blessed you, has blessed you into the world that you may go and multiply. Multiply that gift that He has given you. Give out what you have so that God will bless it now. Remember the story of Cain and Abel. Cain went to God, offered to God something that to him, he just did what he wanted to do. Abel offered to God the best of what he had. And God blessed his effort and blessed him. If you offer to God the best of the gifts God Himself has given you, you will equally receive the blessing. And that is the reason I pray to God. God, bless my days. I want to die empty. I want to die empty by sharing the things that I have. I want to die empty, sharing my knowledge, the gift, the things you have given me. Since you have given me the gift of health, grant me the grace to use my energy, my time, my resource in order to serve you through humanity. Since you have given me intelligence, allow me the grace to be able to impart that same knowledge to others in my own little way. Since you have given me both the creative knowledge, you have given me everything that is beautiful, that when someone sees me, they will say, ah, sister, you're blessed. It is not me that they are blessing God through me. Remember, whatever you do, you are doing it for God. You are not doing it for yourself. Always remember that the reward of the good deeds you do adds something equally into your own life. Learn to share, because you will never know at what point you will meet God. Remember the story of Abraham. Before he heard the son, one day he saw three men passing very close to his son. And he welcomed them. He said, come, sit, let me give you something to eat. He welcomed them in his son and called his wife Sarah, stopped her, go and prepare something for them so that they too will be able to eat. The wife did everything. And in recompense, as a reward, they said, by this time next year, that your wife is going to bear a child. Sometimes we receive God in our lives without knowing. It could be that person, that familiar face we see, that God may use as an instrument in order to bless us. It could be somebody, a stranger, who may come to give us the good news. Remember, God uses anything at different times and different occasions in order to bless you and I. That is the reason sometimes we may call it a miracle. That is the reason sometimes we will say that this is God's undoing. This is God's undoing in what we are experiencing. And how would you feel when you are in need of a particular thing and you look for it, there is no one to offer you that help? How would you feel? Just a second. There is always an expression that people always use. God is God. God is God at all times because He visits us even when we are not worthy of His own blessing. We just celebrated Christmas. And what does it remind us? The generosity of God in coming into our life. He said, I am Emmanuel, God with us. And if God is with you, how much do you do in order to extend God's presence in the life of others? How more do you do in order to make others feel the presence of God in their own life? Let your daily life be the gospel you preach. I'm not telling you anything using Bible quotes, just simple life evidence. Allow your daily life to be the gospel you preach. It is not about quoting verses or the scriptures, just your own daily life. Because through your own daily life, people will be able to know the God yourself. They will be able to ask you, please, can you tell me more about the God yourself? Because what I've already seen in you is beyond my own personal comprehension. Many times we can just find ourselves in a tight corner of life. We may be looking for opportunities, and somebody will say, come, what is it you're looking for? You will tell the person, I'm in search of job. And the person will sign the documents and say, come back here tomorrow and start off your job. How would you feel? When we learn to give to others, the world will circulate without love. You will not go lacking, others will not lack. This world will now become a place of joy. Just 1 second, please.
Quattro. Quattro. Quattro, cinque, 68. Come le dai? Non ce l'hai. Grazie.
Sorry about the distraction. So what I'm saying is that when you learn how to die empty, you need to give out what you have. And just let me give you a clear example. Between a rich man and a poor man, whom do you think feels a little bit freer? A rich man may employ guards to safeguard his own home. But a poor man might even decide to leave his house open and go wherever he's going. And he comes back, still meets his property, his household, his little belongings intact. This is one of the things you have to know about living and dying empty. Share what you have because you don't know whether it is that person whom you are helping at this moment will be a saving help to you tomorrow. Let me give you an example. This is a true story. There was once a teacher. He was um, he was an English teacher in the school where I attended my secondary education. This man, he knew how difficult it was for us, especially we that came from the village and every other trying to learn a language that maybe become a little bit fluent in the language. And he took his time to teach us. Sometimes, even after school lessons, he would tell us, if you have any question, come back to my office. This man took it as an opportunity of helping most of us. I was one of them, yes. And something is that there was a day he saw me and said to me, called me by name, he said, Prisca, you have a brighter future. I see you becoming somebody important in the future. I want to help you the much I can. I was so pleased within me because it was just my teacher who was saying that to me. That word played to my memory. Since then till now, each time I remember, Prisca, you have a brighter future. It gave me a sense of belonging. And what did he do? It's not just about what he said. Yes, his word already had convinced me that I have a brighter future. It's not because no other person has said that to me, but for the fact that it came through somebody whom I didn't even expect, I took it as a point of duty. I am going to do the best I can. Do you know what happened? During that time, I just transferred from a village into the school where I attended in the city. And coming to the city then, I felt somehow too ashamed, even asking questions in the classroom. And that made it a little bit difficult for me because one is that I was shy of how to express myself. And secondly, not knowing how to speak English very well. People or other students will laugh at me. And because of that, I decided to remain quiet in the classroom. One day, this teacher called me, said, Prisca, come, I have something for you. I was just looking at her. I said, yes, sir. He said, I want to add your name into the debaters, the group for um, debating in the school. I was very happy, but I was very afraid. Why? I was happy because he gave me the opportunity to join the debaters, those in the literary club. But my fear was that I could not speak English. I had that challenge. How am I going to do? Involving myself into drama and debate, how am I going to do? But I told myself, this teacher said that I have a brighter future. I told myself that I'm going to make it. Whatever it is, I will learn to do it. It did not stop by this teacher registering me among the literary club where the students normally come together to represent school in the school's debates or even in the drama. I started just as a listener. Anything he tells me, okay, do this thing. He started by giving me short parts to play during the drama. That's that will bring my presence even in that drama, but it may not require much of my talking. So that alone brought me into that scene that I just see myself among those who are playing the parts in the school drama. Until one day, this teacher told me, Prisca, you are going to join the debaters. You are going to represent the school in one of the inter-school debating um, presentations. I was somehow very surprised, but I kept on hoping, yes, I will do it. When I got home, I told my sister, this is what I am going for. My sister screamed, she was just kind of confused. Oh, you want to embarrass me? What kind of a thing is this? Instead of me, I was just very happy that at least I was going to see myself debating and competing with other children in different schools in the radio FM station. And that was just it. Could you believe that that was just one of my first outing? And it happened that I was the second speaker in that debate representing my school. We won that debate. And after that time, when we got home, the next Monday during the assembly, the principal called the debaters, those that represented the school, at in the assembly, and he celebrated us. From that very day, I told myself, I am going to make it. I will do it. Could you believe that coming out from that village scenario to now, which was a challenge of another person's emptiness that his goodness was able to offer me? Today, not just that I have left the village, I found myself in the Europe. I found myself not just as a religious, but I found myself as a published author of poetry books, collections published with many unpublished manuscripts yet. I could not believe that now I two novellas, two stories that I have already written. That is because someone believed in my future that I had not yet seen. he invested in giving me that little encouragement, which did not even involve me €1 or even $1. Just only a word of mouth. Don't worry, I will help you. And he put me in places, opportunities that made me to develop myself as a poet, as a writer, as a storyteller, as a motivational speaker. Yes, this is me. I am living a life of testimony. And because of what I have received, not just from that, my teacher, from my parents, and to many other persons I've come in contact with, at different moments of life and in different situations, I now told myself, since others believed in the future I have not yet seen, and they did the much they could, I myself will reciprocate. I will do the same. I will spend my eternity here on earth helping people in my own little way. No matter what it will cost me, I will give out what God has given me because I believe God has given me so much. And what He has given me is good and enough for me to bless the life of other persons. So, dearest one, always make it as a point of duty to bless someone around you. It's not about money. It could be an advice, it could be a suggestion, it could just be a smile that will encourage somebody who may be in a situation of depression, or even somebody who is sick that will just only because of that your smile begin to become a better version of him or herself. So always learn to share. There is joy in sharing. And most times, while sharing what you had, you discover that whom you think you want to teach may in turn become your teacher because he or she knows more than you do. And that is it. This is a flash of generosity. This is showing. So